A legendary troll arrived uninvited and tore open the roof of a bar. Strangely enough, people who clearly didn't value their lives actually wanted to take photos with the monster. This handsome-looking creature came straight out of Nordic fairy tales. As far back as 1,000 years ago, trolls once coexisted peacefully with humans, but with the rise of the church, they were labeled as embodiments of evil. Under the leadership of King Olaf, their entire race was on the verge of extinction. It wasn't until 1,000 years later that these giants finally saw the light of day again. Nora is an expert in mythological studies. Influenced by her father, she became obsessed with the legend of trolls at a very young age. One afternoon, her friend Andre suddenly paid her a visit. He had taken on a secret mission and needed her help. The two took a helicopter to a long-abandoned power station. However, the place was heavily guarded by soldiers, and what they were protecting was hidden underground. The troll in front of them had been in a deep slumber ever since it was discovered last century. To ensure safety, the cave was filled with ultraviolet lights to make sure it could be turned into stone at any moment. Scientists had spent years studying its physiology and even tried to awaken it, but all attempts to no avail. Nora, however, knew their true purpose was far more than mere scientific research. She pretended to go to the restroom, then quietly slipped onto the sky bridge and took an elevator down to the bottom. The troll was still asleep, unaware of the human's arrival. Nora walked up to it and placed her palm on its nose, then softly hummed a Norwegian folk song her father had taught her. Suddenly, the staff responsible for monitoring the troll noticed signs of life flashing on the instruments. But Nora hadn't realized that it was waking up. Just as she was about to turn around and leave, the troll made a sound. After sleeping for 100 years, the troll clearly hadn't expected to be surrounded by so many humans. It noticed the iron chains around its wrists, and its emotions began to grow restless. The chief scientist Marion immediately ordered the ultraviolet lights to begin warming up, ready to press the button the moment something went wrong. But in the face of such a massive beast, everyone was understandably nervous. Realizing something was wrong, Nora rushed toward the elevator as the troll grabbed the iron chain in its hand. Luckily, it was a close call. The staff fled in panic, and in just a moment of hesitation, one man was stepped on and flattened like a piece of paper. Fortunately, Andre's wife knew where the back exit was, and the four of them managed to escape in a sorry state. The troll merely glanced at them before turning its head and walking into the depths of the forest without looking back. With the military's help, everyone was transferred to a military base, and soon the Prime Minister of Norway arrived as well. It turned out he had long known of the troll's existence and had once opposed it, but now that the situation was becoming more severe, he believed that only by finding and eliminating the troll as soon as possible could the safety of Norwegian civilians be guaranteed. Nora, however, suddenly objected, saying that trolls were part of the natural ecosystem. Did they really deserve to be wiped out just because they might pose a threat to humans? Clearly, the Prime Minister could not understand her way of thinking. He soon appointed Colonel Chris as the person in charge of the troll hunting operation. Knowing she couldn't change the Prime Minister's mind, Nora sought out Chris and asked him to take her along. Unable to resist her persistence, Chris finally agreed. After the troll wreaked havoc in the city 3 years ago, they had built a special helicopter equipped with high-powered ultraviolet lights on both sides, powerful enough to instantly turn a troll to stone. Just then, Marion walked over as well. She too wanted to join the mission. Soon everyone boarded the helicopter and began searching for the troll's whereabouts. The scene then shifted to the bar, where young people were partying, when suddenly the ground began to shake violently, leaving everyone frozen in place. Before they even realized the danger was approaching, they pulled out their phones to take pictures. At that moment, Chris arrived at the scene in the helicopter and quickly turned on the ultraviolet lights on both sides before charging straight at the troll. Under the UV light, the troll's body began to burn violently. Chris immediately ordered a retreat, intending to turn it back into stone, but he had clearly underestimated the troll's strength. In the next second, the helicopter completely lost control and crashed to the ground. Watching his teammates die before his eyes, an enraged Chris set the ultraviolet lights to maximum power. But if he recklessly charged forward, it would surely end in total destruction. The two sides fell into a standoff. Soon, the impatient troll gave a contemptuous look and then turned around and left the area. Nora understood that these trolls were not evil creatures at all. They simply wanted to return to their homeland and live in isolation from the world. Perhaps it hadn't yet reached the point of life and death, but who could possibly mediate the conflict between humans and trolls?
Alright, kanskje en som kan.
The four of them arrived at a military base in the Dovrefell Mountains, where a massive cave appeared before them, filled with disgusting slime and marked with strange symbols carved into the wood. According to legend, 1,000 years ago, King Olaf kidnapped the child of the Troll King in an attempt to eliminate him, luring the father and son into this very cave and torturing them day and night. 3 years ago, the Troll King finally managed to escape, which led to the events of the first incident. As for the captive prince, his body has never been found. The only possible explanation is that he is still alive, hiding out of fear. Nora took out a stone fragment, a piece of the Troll King's body, and struck the ground with it a few times. Seeming to catch the familiar scent on the stone, the prince finally chose to reveal himself. Nora placed her palm on his nose while softly humming the ancient lullaby once more. Feeling their kindness, the prince seemed to relax. Then Nora explained her true intention, hoping that he could mediate and resolve the conflict between humans and trolls. Soon after, Nora arrived alone on an icy plain and fired a signal flare into the air. Drawn by the flames, the trolls slowly began walking toward her.